All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video on how to connect Make.com and Retell AI. Now, I've been in the automation space for about 1.5 years now, and I know that connecting any sort of voice AI platform to an automation platform like Make.com is very, very valuable when it comes to building these automations and systems for companies and clients. So here's what we're going to be covering today. This is how to connect Retell and Make.com, the power of collecting telemetry in Google Sheets, which is an added bonus that I'll show you as well, and also how to aggregate your leads correctly using Google Sheets. You can also feel free to just skip to the integration timestamp. Now, before I start, I do have notes for the entirety of this video. You can find them in the description below. They're completely free, so you can just download them, read through them in your own time. And also the prompt that I will be using for this Retell AI assistant, it will also be there. All right, I want to start with something that you may be familiar with as a business owner, which is that your acquisition cost, the cost to actually acquire every single customer, is going up. So you're spending more on ads, you might have decreasing conversion rates, and the return revenue, the returns that you might be seeing from that are diminishing. So you might be experiencing higher churn, so more people leaving your checkout process before the actual end. People just asking for chargebacks, refunds, abandoned carts as well. And this is basically the end goal of what I'm trying to show you in this video, which is how do I reduce the abandoned carts and the value that is left in those abandoned carts using AI voice agents. So let's say you had 10 leads, for example, which would make up 100% of your buyer's leads. Now, out of those, 70% are actually not going to buy. That means only 3 out of 10 potential customers are going to convert on your product. But I actually managed to circumvent the sort of traditional solution to this, which is just sending boring email sequences that have a 50% open rate. And quite frankly, 50% is nothing. I mean, that means that half the people are not even opening those emails. And with voice AI, this completely gets blown out of the water because you now have a higher deliverability than emails, which is you just get a call on your phone by a store that you were familiar with and you almost checked out, but I don't know, your customers got distracted or whatever. So yeah, as I said, the average cart abandonment rate lies at around 70%, and then out of those, 50% open your email, and then out of those, around 3.33% end up actually converting and going back to the page and buying the product again. And also, not to mention, this is actually an increasing trend. So abandoned cart rates show a rise year on year. In 2014, this was 68%, and in 2022, this was around 69-ish, and now 2024, 2025 is still around 70%. Now, you may be thinking a 2% difference is barely anything, any change. It's like, it's negligible almost. But if you take a look at the other factors, which is that the total AOV is going up, right? More people are buying higher priced products online. And also you have a higher purchase volume in general, because after 2022, well, everything moved online and people just bought whatever they need now that you can find it online as compared to 10 years ago. So this means that a higher average order value and also a higher number of traffic coming to your store, that 2% difference is the difference between 230 billion and 800 billion in abandoned carts in total. So that's a $400 billion increase in just cash that is pretty much left on the table and then never looked at. When you're running these retargeting campaigns, there's pretty much no better audience to sell to, because there are people that have trusted you, right? They went on your product, they almost hit checkout, they followed all the steps, they went through your site, they went through what products they wanted, and they almost hit checkout. They have the intent in their mind. There's literally no better audience to sell to. And this is basically what we're doing with voice AI instead of doing with email, which is quite frankly old and outdated. So I'm going to show you now what can be done against these people that express interest in your product, but for whatever reason they do not convert. So this is the actual integration part. This is where I'm going to go into more in-depth sort of tutorial style and also show you how I implement these for my client systems. Now, before I actually get into the assistant itself, you might want to make an assistant, configure it with the voice that you want and also the temperature and all that. So right now, if we go onto reactivation agent, I've set my language to English, but pretty much there's all kinds of languages. And because this has a 11 Labs plugin, what you can do is actually upload your own voice if you wanted to. You just have to give enough training data for 11 Labs to sort of piece your voice together, and then you will have your own voice as a first touch point to your business. So on the right-hand side, you'll see my prompt. We'll get to this in a second, but what I want to clarify here is that I've added a knowledge base. And this knowledge base is basically a SOP, or a standard operating procedure list of things that your company is doing currently. So, if, for example, if you have a physical store, this could be like address, opening times, what sort of delivery options do you guys have. So, someone who is trying to check your course out, let's say, they would see those. They would chat with this voice agent, and they would see these or hear about these testimonials. The first thing that you'll notice in this prompt is that I have variables such as first name, last name, and items. These are actually variables that are taken from Shopify itself, or if you are running it from a database, you can also pull from a database, like Airtable or Google Sheets. But essentially, you want to start off with, like you would start off with any other prompt, which is basically describing the role and the sort of product that you provide and your value offer, basically, or your unique selling point. Now, because this is a dynamic voice agent, meaning that this agent, every time it calls you, it will know your name, your last name, and it will also know what items were left in the cart. So that's why we have these three variables. The script sequence is very similar in general, but the intro message is what's important here. So, hi there, first name, let's say Chris. Hi there, Chris. This is Fred calling from Frosty Delights. I just wanted to check in because I noticed you left a vanilla tub for 1 kilogram in your cart. This is the more like playful tone, but you could also have it more persuasive, more like assistant type, basically. Now, we do also have FAQ handling. As I said, this is basically any sort of frequently asked questions that your customers may have or that you have been experiencing. Like people email you, and then you can see out of a list of like 100 emails, 50 of them are about your delivery options or whatever. So you can actually add all of that into the FAQ section of your prompt. The fourth variable here is called call result, which is basically it can either have one of two values, which is close or offer open. And when the customer does express some interest to buy the product again or convert again, the call result is actually going to be set to closed. Or if they still don't want to buy, if they're still hesitant, it will be set to offer open. And at that point, you could just either leave them or send them to like an email sequence as a backup. And then also very important, we have to send off this information. So all the four variables that we just mentioned and highlighted, we have to send them off via a webhook to make.com. And this is where we connect the two platforms. But yeah, you can find this prompt below as well. So let's go into make.com. Now, what that does is basically give you a link, which you copy over into Retell. You go here, you go all the way down to webhook settings. I don't know if you can see it because of my camera, but at the very bottom of this menu, there's a link to paste. It says agent level webhook. Now, once you have that, you can add a row Google Sheets module. And basically, you link your spreadsheet ID. You can also just choose enter manually and then just paste in the link. This is basically after we've collected the intent of the buyer and also their first name, their last name, and maybe their email and phone number. So this is basically where we would store all the variables that we've collected from Retell AI, from the voice agent. So for example, first name, last name, email, phone, the items that the person has left in the cart age, which is also very important, and purchase reconversion value. So basically all the items totaled up, their value would go here. The status, so if the person has been called or not by the agent yet, and also the amount spent, which, by the way, you can see in Retell if you go up here. You can see the number of tokens, and also this one is 12 cents per minute. Now, once you have that, you can go into the test field up here, and you can go into your dynamic variables, and you can just play around with them. So, for example, we can have Chris, who left his, I don't know, his strawberry ice cream. Last name could be, I don't know, test. And the call result would be closed. And we can save that, and we can test our voice agent out.
Hi there, Chris. This is Fred calling from Frosty Delights. I just wanted to check in because I noticed you left some delicious strawberry ice cream in your cart. Is everything okay? I'd love to help you finish your order before your flavor melts away. Can I help you complete your checkout right now?
Yeah, sure. How much is it?
Oh, awesome. So a single scoop of our strawberry ice cream is just $3. If you want to add a topping, it's only 75 cents more. Did you want to go ahead and check out with just the strawberry or maybe add something else sweet to your order?
I was just hesitant because I didn't get a discount code and it didn't work.
Oh, I totally get that, Chris. Discounts make everything sweeter. Just for today, I can actually waive the $2 delivery fee if your order's over $10, or throw in a free topping for your strawberry ice cream. Would you like me to help you finish your order with that little treat?
Okay, sure, fine.
Great, Chris. I'll get that free topping added to your strawberry ice cream and help you wrap up your order. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Or do you want to check the status of your order once it's placed? Just let me know how I can help.
No, that's it.
Perfect, Chris. I'll get your strawberry ice cream with that free topping all set for you. If you need to check your order status or have any other questions, just let me know. Happy to help.
So that's how the agent would sound. And once the conversation has been completed, not in the test environment, but in the actual, like in an actual conversation on your phone, what the agent will actually do in real life conversation once it's deployed on your phone, it will actually fill out the variables. So all the names, the details, information, whatever you want, it will fill them out as you're speaking with the agent. And then it would actually go ahead and populate the Google Sheets that we have here. And it would look something a bit like this. So we have our first name here, email and phone and items. Now this grayed out section right here, the first few rows, first few columns, they'll actually come from Shopify. So you can actually pull this data, and once you have this is inputted from your end. Once you have this, all of this will be coming from Retell AI. So you can see the amount spent, you can see if the offer is still open or if it has been closed. And you can also see if this specific lead has been called or if it's in sequence. So if it's been called, it'll come up as green. In the second sheet that you'll find, we have formulas. So for example, the average abandoned cart volume. We also have things like purchase reconversion values. So as I said, how much the total cart would actually be of worth to you if recollected. And this is one of the things that you want to optimize for. So that's how the integration works. Now, the cool thing is that because you're in Google Sheets, you can actually make graphs and nice visualizations out of this. The way I like to do this when I'm working with my clients is I like to use Looker Studio. Basically make a nicer version of the CRM for your agent. You can also split test prompts. This way you can find out where exactly your leads are bleeding through. So yeah, what this basically will allow you to do is to sort by your PRV first and foremost, which is your purchase reconversion value. But it will also allow you to keep an eye on the amount that you spend. And also, you don't have to spend time between distinguishing your high value leads and also your sort of lower valued ones that you don't really want to spend too much time on. So I hope you get to see the actual benefit and the power of using this correctly once integrated. Now, as I mentioned, the templates, the prompt, and the two files that I use, so make.com and Retell AI, all those files will be in the description below. They are completely for free. Now, if you want this sort of system to be built into your operations, or if you're working with someone who would like these kinds of systems to be built, that's actually what I do. I build personalized AI infrastructure for your offer. There will be a link below to work with me directly. We will get on a call. I will audit and sort of diagnose how your operations look. If you want more information on that, you can book in a call with me. And I would like to thank you for your time on this video, and I'll see you in the next one.